Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Max Velocity weather forecast. And in today's forecast, we'll be talking about a rare storm that'll be coming to the United States later this week, and this will pose a lot of weird threats for this time of the year, including the potential for thunderstorms as far north as Illinois and potentially southern Wisconsin. This will also bring some snowfall to areas in the northern plains, and we'll also be talking about the long-term forecast in terms of what we can expect in the United States going into mid-February and why there's a good likelihood that we'll be seeing an Arctic blast sometime later this month. I'll be giving you the latest breakdown on everything that you need to know in this forecast, and let's hop right into what's happening across the United States right now. And we will begin with the west coast of the United States, and this is an area that has been getting hammered by tons of rainfall over the last 24 hours. Notice on the infrared imagery right now, we have a huge plume of moisture stretching from the Pacific Ocean going into California, and areas like Los Angeles have seen as much as 10 to 12 inches of rainfall over the past 24 hours, and that rain is not done yet. That's going to continue all the way through tomorrow morning, and unfortunately for many of those areas, they are experiencing way too much rainfall in a short amount of time. And even back up in the Pacific Northwest, we have plenty of rainfall there. And where's this storm going next might be your question. Well, it's actually going to be coming toward the Midwest and the northern plains later this week, and that is going to be a pretty rare storm once it goes that direction, because we're going to see very warm temperatures and perhaps some thunderstorms in the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. Again, we'll have a more detailed breakdown on that later in this forecast. Back over in the southeast, we had a tornado outbreak yesterday, or at least a small-scale tornado outbreak in northern Florida and southern Georgia. There was about 6 or 8 confirmed tornadoes, at least by radar. We don't have an official number yet. Once I know that official number, I'll definitely let you know. But obviously, this is still bringing rainfall to areas in Florida. Even this afternoon, we still have some showers and even a couple of thunderstorms back down in southern Florida, and even back up in parts of South Carolina. We are still seeing at least a little bit of rainfall out there. And then back over in the Midwest, a little bit of cloud cover moving through, but really nothing too concerning right now. It's going to stay dry for the next couple of days, but that'll change again later this week. We'll have a full detailed breakdown on that here in just a couple minutes. You've most likely heard that California has picked up a lot of rain over the last 24 to 48 hours, and areas near Los Angeles, even from this morning. This is the rainfall we saw last night into early this morning. Many areas near Los Angeles picking up anywhere from 4 to 12 inches of rainfall. Los Angeles Metro in particular has picked up as much as 12 inches of rain to this point, and a few more inches of rain are expected tonight, even back up near San Francisco. We've seen a widespread 1 to 3 inches of rain, with many areas even above that far up to the north. And right now there is still an excessive rainfall outlook in place, and that is still a high risk. That is very rare, by the way, even for the state of California. We do have a high risk of excessive rainfall for those near Los Angeles. That will go through tonight. Again, more rainfall is expected tonight. It'll eventually taper down as we go late into tomorrow, so overall things are going to get a little bit better, but an additional 1 to 3 inches of rain is in the forecast for you. All right, let's talk more about the weather pattern that's upcoming across the United States over the next few days. And to look at that, we're actually going to look at the temperature anomalies, giving you an idea of what the temperatures will be here for the next couple of weeks. Will we be seeing any Arctic blasts? And as well as what the overall trends are for at least the next couple of weeks. And this is what we have right now. It's very warm for much of the United States. For many of those in the Midwest and as well as the Ohio Valley, you're probably wondering, where in the world is the snow? Well, you can definitely blame this high pressure system for a lot of those problems, because a high pressure system has been dominating in the northern tier of the United States for about a week now, and this is still keeping a lot of warm and dry air in place, but that will be changing as we go closer to Thursday and Friday of this week. Notice this: as we go into Thursday, we'll have a low pressure system moving to the north and east, going toward the northern plains in the Midwest. This will be able to pull up some moisture and warm air into areas like the Midwest, and we will have a shot at thunderstorms in areas like Chicago as we go into Thursday. Once we go into Friday, things start to cool down a little bit in the northern plains in the Midwest, but this is not an Arctic blast by any means, purely due to the fact this low pressure system is not coming from anywhere that is very cold. It's coming from the Pacific Ocean more than anything. Once we go into Saturday into Sunday, things stay well above average for most of the United States. By early next week, we'll get closer to average, and there's reason to believe sometime during the end of next week or into the following week that we will be beginning to observe colder weather for much of the United States. Below average temperatures appear much more likely as we go closer to into late next week into early the following week, so about mid-February to the end of February. And I do think we're going to see some sort of Arctic blast, but exactly where that happens, how cold it gets, and also when it happens remains very uncertain. But we definitely have a better idea that there will likely be some below average temperatures in parts of the United States, and I'll show you where those areas are here in just a second. Now, in terms of the temperatures for the next couple of days, we are going to be talking about the potential for record-breaking high temperatures in parts of the United States. This is what we're looking at Tuesday afternoon. Notice many areas in the northern plains will be going above 50 degrees. That's just unheard of for this time of the year, especially in early February. Once we go into Wednesday, that warm air starts to move a bit further out to the east toward the Midwest, where Chicago will get close to 50. But if you don't hit 50 on Wednesday, you'll definitely hit 50 on Thursday. Thursday will get into the mid to upper 50s, low 60s as well across Iowa, and even up closer to Minneapolis. That is just crazy for this time of the year. So again, really overall crazy weather in the Midwest, and that warm air is going to continue to stick up there. Now, at least from Sunday, this upcoming Sunday, all the way through next Thursday, so just February 11th to February 15th, we do have a higher likelihood of below average temperatures for the southwest United States and the southern plains. And once we go past this time period, about the 15th to about the 21st or so, the Climate Prediction Center has this entire quadrant with below average temperatures being likely during that time frame. But at least for this time frame, we're talking about, again, below average temperatures primarily in the southwest United States, and then above average temperatures for the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. But again, after about the 15th of February, I do think things are going to start to change. So stay tuned and make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Let's talk more about this rare storm that is currently impacting the United States and where it's heading next, and also a long-term look at what might be upcoming early next week. We might even see some snow next week. This is what we're looking at for Wednesday. We'll have some snow across areas in the Rocky Mountains. That low pressure system from California will be moving over the Rocky Mountains as we go into tomorrow and as well as into Wednesday morning. Eventually, by late Wednesday into Thursday, this becomes a lot more definitive across areas in the northern plains. We are going to see some snow out of this across the Rocky Mountains and back through the northern plains, but I don't anticipate snow in the Midwest. It's simply going to be too warm over there. We're going to have temperatures in the 50s and 60s for Thursday. We will be watching for the potential for a few isolated thunderstorms on Thursday evening into Friday morning. It's a low threat overall. It's a very low chance, and it's very conditional on there being enough moisture in place. But there is definitely a chance as we go into Thursday evening across areas in eastern Iowa, back into northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin. And by Friday morning, we might even see an isolated rumble of thunder or two back over in northern Ohio and northern Indiana. But here's the thing. There's no reason to be concerned about severe weather. That's not really possible with this sort of setup. And if there was to be a strong storm somehow, it would be conductive of, at most, some small hail. So again, no reason to be concerned really. And then once we go through Friday morning, showers, and again, maybe a couple of thunderstorms back down in the lower Ohio Valley going to Friday morning. By the afternoon and evening, the system rolls off to the north and east. By the weekend, we will need to watch for another storm potentially to develop in the southern plains. No computer model right now is very definitive on what this system will actually do and where it'll go and how strong it'll be. The GFS model in particular barely even shows this system. The European model has gone very aggressive on this, showing the potential for some snowfall in the southern plains, in addition to there being the threat for severe weather going to Sunday into Monday, and then potentially a winter storm in the Midwest. There is literally no reason to believe that this should be happening right now, but it is going to be something to watch for over the next 24 to 48 hours on the models and see if anything kind of develops out of it. This is the first time this particular thing is actually shown on the computer models, so it's very uncertain whether this will happen, but keep that in the back of your head if you have any plans late in the weekend into early next week. Now, again, I mentioned that the threat of storms in the Midwest is conditional. That is because the moisture content is going to be lacking quite a bit, but we do have a strong enough southerly wind to the point where there might just be enough moisture for there to be a few thunderstorms. If the dew points go about 5 degrees higher than forecasted for Thursday evening, we will have a better chance of thunderstorms. But right now, the forecasted dew points are in the mid to upper 40s and low 50s. It's not very favorable for thunderstorms, but with that being said, there will be a little bit of instability there, and that might allow for enough fuel for there to be maybe an isolated thunderstorm or two. And this is the European model showing you the average lightning flash density over a 6-hour period. And notice what it shows going to Thursday evening. There is at least some coverage here that there could be maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there. But again, no reason to be really concerned. It's just kind of crazy to think about during early February to be seeing thunderstorm potential in the Midwest and even the Ohio Valley for Thursday night into Friday morning. But again, no severe weather in the forecast. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you've not already.